Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session
with your host, Michael Rearden.
Paul Loubao, thanks for coming on. We are going to be having a good conversation talking about your work. I know you do more than just real estate coaching, but we are going to be having an interesting conversation today because in our world today, the American dream is to go out, to have a house, and there's nothing wrong with that dream. I want people to understand. I know like some people might say, hey, getting into a 30-year mortgage is like, saying that you have to do this for the rest of your life. And I mean, there's so many different things that people do for longer stints of time that is not going to be beneficial for you. For example, staying in a dead-end job, being in a bad relationship, when you can be in a house that's going to be accruing value over time, because homes, for example, I live in Round Rock, and this is a suburb of Austin. If you bought a home 30 years ago in Austin, you might have been spending maybe 100, 120, 150 around there. These homes are going for millions of dollars now. And it's because not only the individual said, I'm going to invest in my future, but they weren't afraid to say, I want to have something that I can call my own. So we're going to be having a conversation about that today. In your own words, tell the world who you are, what you do, and how you help.
Yeah, sure. My name is Paul Loubao. I'm originally from Ivory Coast. It's just a small country in West Africa, just next to Ghana. Most people know about Ghana more. So I speak French. I came in the US 8 years ago. I took 1 year to learn English, 2 years to get my MBA. I started in Oklahoma City, and I just moved from Oklahoma City to Dallas, Texas, like just to live in a bigger state. So here in Dallas, Texas, I did 2 years as an insurance broker. Well, I did very great. So I started by learning how to sell, how to communicate, and to promote myself. And after being a broker for about 2 years, in 2020, I transitioned to real estate investment. So I'm a real estate investor for about 4 years now. And then since 2 months, I just released a new real estate mentorship to just inspire people on how you can start in real estate with zero money or either little money and start to build an empire.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to go so much into like how people can make money, but so much of the idea of the dream of
Yes, yeah,
of of the
absolutely.
future. Because I was just talking to my family. One of our goals as a family is to not be separated, because I live in Texas. My sister lives in, I believe it's South Carolina. My mom and my dad, they still live in Connecticut. So the family is separated. And my sister has a daughter. I have two. And it's like, okay, well, if we're trying to, have a family, we're trying to, have a community, the best thing for us to do is to have like a living situation where we all can be close by. And it's not so much about living in the city, but having farms and animals and chickens and stuff like that. Like that's a dream of ours. And there's nothing wrong with having a dream, like I said that in the beginning, because I want people to understand that your goals and the things that you go for, it should ignite you, like it should invigorate you. But many people, they have financial constraints today. They have worries that the market's not doing well, or that they can't afford a home because the interest rates are
Interest
so
rates,
high.
yeah.
What do you say to people who are trying to fulfill their dreams, but they're having a hard time maybe getting the money, the capital, whatever it be?
Yeah, so what you say is right. So basically, I would say to everybody, uh, owning a house is legit. Everybody would like to live in a bigger place and have a freedom, have kids play around, and even if you don't have kids, you need like more space and live in a good neighborhood, safe, and all of these. Now, I believe that it need to be at the right time based on their financial situation, right? Let's say, for example, I don't make enough money right now. I'm making, let's say, 50K a year. I don't have enough money for the mortgage. I will decide to prepare myself, to work with somebody on it, on how I can increase my income probably, and how I can get better in order for me in 2 years or 1 year from now to get a house. That makes sense. I believe everybody should probably understand the situation and not probably meant to rush to get to the house, probably, because a house at the end of the day is a good investment. I mean, okay, by definition, is not an investment, but it's a good decision to do for sure. Now, in terms of expenses, it might cost something. In terms of mortgage, in terms of property tax, in terms of insurance. So based on the time frame that you have and based on your income, you can decide to pull the trigger or not. But I think you should be honest with yourself and look at your financial situation, not look at your one to say, okay, I'm rushing to get to the house market. I probably need to wait a little bit next year to do that. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you have to do it. Does that make sense? It's just a time frame stuff. So this is what I believe.
Mhm. Yeah, I was reading a book and they were talking about the idea of how the middle class kind of went to the upper class for a moment and then they kind of went back to the middle class, and that's even a good portion of them went down into now like living in poverty. It was because of the aspect of keeping up with the Joneses, where they started to say, well, they have a big house, why can't I have a big house? And so they started to look at the things that they didn't truly want to need. It was kind of like what they desired. If they have it, I should have it too. But the reality is, not everyone wants the same thing. And, like you have a different upbringing because you didn't grow up here in America. And many people who live in America are very entitled with the mindset of, I have to get a big house, a house that I might not even need. I know even family members of mine, they're by themselves, literally one person, they buy a 5-bedroom house. Like, are you going to run like a hotel or something? Like it's not realistic, but that was what we were, told to believe. And then they find themselves 10 years down the road, they're selling their home because the house is too big, or you don't do forward thinking. For example, like this is something I'm thinking about today because here in Texas, like we have limestone. So it costs a lot to dig down. Like you have to get dynamite, special machinery if you want to dig a basement. The reality is, if you want a 2-story house in Texas, that's going to cost more, but it's easier than if you wanted to put a basement in a 1-story. So in Texas, you have 2 options, good options. You can just build a single story or you can build a 2-story. And people don't typically go to 3 unless you're living in a townhouse or something along those lines. If you build a 2-story house, and let's say you're in your 30s right now, and I know I have a good portion of the audience who are young, savvy people who are going out, they're hungry, they're maybe have a house right now, they're building their dream house right now. I'm going to give you a bit of forward thinking. If you buy a house that's 2 stories, large, and you put the master bedroom upstairs, guess what? You have to walk up those stairs when you're old, because you might want to stay in that house for the rest of your life. And maybe you don't, right? Maybe you just want to stay until, like your kids are out of high school or college, whatever it be, and you move. But are you thinking forward? And most people are just stuck in what they want. Should people be looking for like the just for the moment, what's going to make them feel good, or should they be looking long term in all aspects? It could be financial or personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do have a different psychology about it. I know it might be a little bit different than most people, but I know also that you say that you don't want to touch too much about income, but I believe that income is very important for anybody to make their dream happen. So as an immigrant here, we believe that, for example, me, I will talk about myself. I'm focused on making as much as I can. I believe that if I make a ton of money, it doesn't matter my decision. Even if I want to buy a 500,000 house, I can buy it. If I want to buy a $1 million house, I can buy it. So my focus on how can I make enough as I can? How can I make so much money? So it doesn't matter what I decide. I can decide to do whatever I want. Now, I understand that some people don't have this probably desire to make 1 million, 2 million, 3 million every year. They just have their simple job, and then they just want to make a good living. But also they need to be able to get a house. They just need to get an affordable house. It's simple as that, because it's gonna be a very painful moment when they're gonna live on this house, and 4 years, 5 years from now, they're gonna feel out that, okay, we cannot afford and to sell it. Okay, it's better to not have it than having it not to sell it, right? It's a simple example. When I decide to start to buy like luxury watch and all of these, the people told me like, you need to make sure to keep this level of life, because if you lose it, you never recover from that, because it's gonna be like a very big big like an issue on your mind. It's kind of the same with house. You live on a 6-bedroom house, that's fine, that you can afford now, but make sure you can keep it for the rest of your life, because downgrading is going to be very painful.
When we look at the longevity of things, right? Because you might be in a very plush situation right now. So, for example, let's say you work for a big law firm or a big Fortune 500 company, but then the company goes out of business, or maybe you lose your position. So, the things that you were planning for are now, and you might have been making a lot of money, and now you're not making that income anymore. You don't have the structure and the stability anymore. What do you do in that situation?
I mean, in that situation, if you're a 9 to 5, I mean, for me, as an entrepreneur and people who already been in sales, I believe that did I say to everybody, I say, okay, if you learn to sell, you can work. You probably never been broke in your life, because you can sell your own product, or you can go work for anybody, and it's an open market. There is no requirement. For an entrepreneur, even if you get broke for some situation, if you work hard, you can come back. Does that make sense? But for like a 9 to 5 worker who probably have like a regular salary, if they don't find a new job, it might be difficult for them. So in this situation, you don't have any choice, and you have to downgrade. So you've been working for 10 years, you used to make good money, and for some reason 1 year from now, like from the day that you get fired or the company go bankrupt, you cannot transit and find another job. And 6 months, right? You're out of saving. What you gonna do? You need to downgrade, right? You need to think strategically. Maybe move to another state, sell it and do other stuff. So we need to do that. But as an entrepreneur, we're not afraid to that, because we believe that, okay, if it doesn't work here, I can do other stuff, to make me money on the same level.
I was just thinking about something like, for example, like as you said, we have to downgrade like our home, like if we have a different situation. I was thinking like, for example, if you gain a bunch of weight and you're like, now you're obese, you have to downgrade how much food you're eating. You have to like downgrade your pizzas to salads, or you have to stop eating cookies, and you have to say, okay, I'm going to maybe have some low calorie ice cream, some Halo, I think it's called Halo. And, we, we have a different aspect of living, and people have a hard time adjusting, because if you think about how people live life, like if like truly, like if you look at individuals, just like in the majority, especially in America, it's like the moment they get derailed, they like are confused, like they're lost. Like like if you ever saw movies or something, when like things start to go in chaos, everyone loses their minds. Like no one is so focused. Of course, you have the hero in the story that knows what they're doing, but everyone else, you look around, that's the world. Most people are just so lost into confusion because they are not getting in control of their life. How can people not only get in control of their life, but also their finances? So it'll be a two-part question.
Okay, on their life and their finance, right? So I think everything starts with the mindset. In order to be control of your life, I believe you need to be focused on the goal, because the goal will always wake you up every day to make you move forward in life. It might be your kid, it might be your reputation, it might be because you want to do something later. For example, me, my goal is to buy a jet one day. So even if something happened to me, I still have to do that. It needs to happen. I would say I go long term. That makes sense. So this long goal make me, even if I feel like a bad situation, for example, I didn't make any sales today, or like I don't have enough client, I didn't close this deal. If my bigger goal make me always want to go back. I can go down for sure, like for 1 hour, 2 hours, or even for one night. I can say, okay, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to why I depressed. But in the next morning, I wake up because my goal wake me up. I say, okay, that's over. I need to come back to the situation. That makes sense. Now, for your finance, that's why I say I'm very different. Make more. When you make more, everything, I know it's pretty easy to say, but I believe that everybody should be focused on making more instead of saving. That makes sense. So when I go out and people say, hey, do you want to save on electricity? Do you want to save on water? I say, no, I want to make more. It doesn't matter how much I pay. I just want to make more. Like for me, there is no difference in paying like electricity 300 a month and pay 250. I prefer to make, if I make 500,000 a year, if you say I want to make 1 million next year. That makes sense. So I put all my energy on making more money. I know this is more entrepreneurial mindset that probably some 9 to 5 don't have. So because I never been a 9 to 5 here in the United States. I've been a 9 to 5 back in France and in Africa. So I do understand this mindset. But for the past 5 years, I've been working for myself. I've been working as an independent. So my mindset is always on focus on making more money rather than try to save $50, $30 a month, $60 on cable or all of these. I'm focused on double my income every single year.
No, it's a powerful way of thinking, and it's a different way of thinking.
It's
And
different.
yeah, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because many people don't think of it that way. Like, they think of happiness as one of their joys, and their ambitions are kind of second to their happiness. So like, they want to feel comfortable. So for example, if I have to stretch myself any little bit, it's like, it's too much, especially doing uncomfortable things like sales. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of people because the fear of rejection. They fear like, I'm going to, lose this, or maybe they're, like, they are afraid they're going to lose their home, or they're going to lose their job. Like, so like, or, people are going to look at them a certain way because they're trying to do stuff. Like, for example, I'm sure people probably say, you want to buy a jet. The people who have jets are probably going to say it's not worth it. And the people who don't have jets are going to say, like, you'll never get there. So you have two sides of the equation. You have you have people who have lived it and people who have, like, who haven't lived it. But the thing about having a goal and having a dream is it should be so scary. It should be big. It should be something that's seemingly impossible, because even if you fall short, you're still going to be, there flying in business class. And that's still better than,
That's better than
a majority of people, where we have to get a focus now, not so much of only a business savvy mindset, but the possibility of a dream. And I know many people, when they move to America and they, like, leave from one place to another, they give themselves a big goal, a dream,
huge goal,
and they see the opportunity. What is the opportunity that you saw when you first came?
Everything. Like, first, I think everything started by the mindset of me saying that I didn't travel because the flight straight from United States to Africa is 15 hours. So I was thinking, if I stay on the plane for 15 hours, it's not for nothing. I need to make it big. I start in like the competition race and compete against every single American on my industry, right? I know I'm the underdog. I know I don't speak English, but I've been learning about it. And then I was hearing a lot about the artists say that, okay, you can come here, start broke, homeless, become millionaire. You can start with some issue and become rich. So I always had this mindset of, okay, everything is possible if I can work my ass off and make sure everything will happen for me. Does that make sense? So when I came here, I saw that this country was big first. There is 55, 53 states. I said, okay, I can go here, I can move here. Each state is different. There is some state that you don't pay tax, income tax, like Texas. There is no state income tax. Florida. I said some state is better for asset protection. So I knew, I said, okay, there is a world in my hand right now. I can just decide to play and do whatever I want. So from there, like, I said, okay, if I can learn this American skill, that was my goal. Okay, because I went to school, I did my MBA, but I didn't have, I don't want to say chance, but I didn't have the time to use it for some reason. I didn't have the time to work in the corporate, because when I came here, the goal was to become a stockbroker, because I have a big finance background and all of these. But for some reason, I had to take care of my expenses. So I said, okay, what can I do in order for me to succeed in this country, beside my deficiency, or not deficiency, but beside the fact that I have a crazy accent, I speak fast. This is one of my one of my big weaknesses. I don't know if I'll be able to correct that, but I'm still working on it. What can I do? So I'm going to learn how to sell, how to communicate and promote myself. It will help me speak better English, at the same time be able to improve my language. So this is what I did, and then it was a I discovered that you can make as much as you can if you work hard. So I said, okay, this is incredible. So I just have to jump on the water and just start swimming, and things will happen. So that was my the mindset.
How do you define hard work?
Do whatever it takes. I have a very strong skin. It doesn't matter what, like for example, sales, like you say, it doesn't matter how many rejection I'm going to get. Like I say, it's come to the same mindset. I flew 15 hours. So it doesn't matter. I need to get the job done. And if I see somebody do it, then I can do it too. So I have no excuse. If I win something, I say I need to close 5 people a day. If I close only 1 or 2, it's my fault. Right? Even I know that I don't want to say, oh, they're just racist. Oh, no, it's my fault. If somebody did it, I can do it too. So I define hard work. I do everything that I can. Because each one have different abilities. Some people understand faster. Some people have like better like learning curves. Some people have better ability. Some people take more to learn. Like me, I need maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks to learn something like most likely sense. But at the end of the day, if I keep pushing, I will get to the result, or I either have a better chance to get to my point.
I think what we're dancing around is the aspect of extreme accountability. And I had a business coach come on. I believe he's from Africa, also somewhere. I forget the country, but he also had a very strong mindset where I believe that this mindset comes from not being, and this is crazy, but this is something I promote. This is more mindset OD than coaching in session, because I have 2 shows. It's the indoctrination of our school system when we talk about I have episodes on coaching in session about the indoctrination of our schools and how we limit the people's in their mind when they're young. So we give them a set cap. So when they're adults, these young children going through the school system, they don't have that drive that you have, or the business coach that I had come on. We have to learn it, or we have to be told that we have it again, because everyone has it within them. We have the power. We can have the drive, but to be honest, someone will drive 15 hours, let alone fly 15 hours, and they'll probably say, "Yeah, it's whatever."
Oh, no.
15 hours. Yes, because they
Yeah.
have a different a way of thinking, because they have a different upbringing.
Right.
Here we have a very structured way of doing things. For example, failure is not good. If you get an F on your test, it's bad. If you speak out in class, it's bad. You're a bad student. We do things that are not promoting and building people up. So then when they finally try to go to their dreams of maybe owning a house or having a business or starting a family, they're not financially there because they have been limiting and capping themselves for so many years. So things will change, but it's always a breath of fresh air when I can bring on someone from a different walk of life and they can say that I can see the opportunity because my perspective is not, or it hasn't been altered and skewed by pre-thought beliefs. Because if you think you can't do it, who told you that? How can people get out of their way of thinking and self-doubt and denial and feeling like good things can't come to them when we have been told our whole life, or they have been told their whole life, that this is their reality?
Yeah. So one thing that can help you, I believe, and I think is probably strongly true, is the fact that the competition basically have a challenging mindset. Me, I compete against everyone. And I believe that I'm very similar to athletes. Right? I want to be at the top. I want to be the number one. I want to be the number one to do that. I want to be the number one to have that. So my competition and the level of my level of challenging myself and challenging everybody around me, raise my confidence, raise also the fact that okay, I need to push and have no matter what, I don't have any limitation, So I know sometimes it might be bad to compete too much because you start to be jealousy and all of these, but if you can use the bad, the good side of the competition, it will allow you to not be scared of anything and keep pushing, because anything that you want is to beat with the next guy. Let's say I start a job today. I will always ask who is the best. Always. And start to think about him every day. Say, I need to beat this guy. I need to beat this guy. I need to do better. What he did today, 5 sales, or how many calls he did, or whatever. I know it's all about sales, but different other stuff. I need to make sure I can beat him. It will take time. It makes me sleep bad at night. I know, but I will always get better by doing that. I know it's something that like not everybody can have it because it's something that maybe you need to have it on you or be like an athlete. But I will say what this competition mindset helped me a lot achieving what I have right now.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's say instead of competing,
Mhm.
or let's do a this or that.
Yeah.
Which would be better? For you to compete with someone or for you to compete with the person you were yesterday?
Someone. No doubt someone. Because competing against you yesterday is like, okay, let's say for example, I didn't make any sales today. So I need to be better tomorrow. So I'm not going to make one. No. What my friend did yesterday, he closed 5. I need to do at least 6. So the way that I'll get I need to build at least 6, it will also raise me to 3. But if I have to compete against myself every single day, I will always get one step better. I know it's baby steps, but again, it's come back to the fact of being an immigrant. We're on the clock. A lot of time to do baby steps. So it might be because of that. A lot of time. I'm on the clock. I came here 8 years ago. Right now I'm 35. I came here at 27.
Okay.
So at one point I need to make it. So 8 years for me, I need to. For me, 8 years, like for example, if I say to everybody, I say I'm 8 years old here. I'm 8 years old. Like I learn English at like kind of 0, like stuff like that. So I cannot compete against myself. I need to find somebody. I need to see. Okay, this guy, I want to be like him, and then thinking about how I can beat this guy in a good way for sure. But it will raise the level of competition. So no, for me, I don't think I should compete against myself. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that perspective because you have a different situation. It's not like everyone else's situation. No. I do think of it this way though too. Let's say you want to go to the gym, right? And I know we are talking about real estate and stuff like that, but like just a different analogy so we can kind of differentiate. If you go to the gym and you see everyone in the gym and they're lifting 225 pounds on the bench, right? And it's your first day in the gym. Are you going to lift 225? Maybe, right? You might try. Maybe you succeed. But the reality is if you push yourself too hard, there's a chance that you can get injured. And I understand finances. You're not going to get injured, like maybe you get in financial troubles, but you can always get out of financial troubles. But if you hurt your like arm or your leg or something like that, your back, you're going to be out of commission for months now. So then, for different aspects. So I do want to create some clarification for the audience, at least, where there are certain aspects when we can compete, and there's certain aspects when we should be looking at where we are. And then from there, we grow from that.
I disagree.
All right. Let me hear it.
Why? Because if I go to the gym and I say, okay, I need to get better. I need to lift weight. Okay. When I see the guy who lift up 2,000 or 200 pounds, I know it's possible.
You have to lift 2,000 pounds that day.
No, at light weight.
No, that day. Because you just said that you're trying to compete with the person. So if he makes 6 calls, you're not doing 1 call and then you're getting better to 6 calls. You need to make 7 calls. That's what you said. So I'm just saying. All right. There you go.
So if I'm talking about the mindset around the competition. If I see somebody lift 200 pounds, me wanting to beat him will allow me to do more of this day. If, for example, I will ask you, my coach, I say, okay, do you see the guy? What will take me to do the same thing? You will say, if you do the same thing, it will take you 1 month. I said, okay, how can I do in 2 weeks? You said, okay, if you do in 2 weeks, you're probably not going to do that, but it might help you. I said, okay, what's the change for me to help me? I said, okay, maybe 90%. I said, okay, can you decrease this risk level, or either can I increase my chance to do that in 2 weeks? So it will always push me to reach my goal as fast as possible. Does that make sense? But on the same time, I understand that not the same day. But if I come to the gym and I don't see anybody, I see the guy, I don't compete against him. Okay, I say, okay, I need to do my stuff step by step. That's fine. But how fast can I get to the result? I believe that for me, if I compete against somebody, I will get to the result faster.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because of the immigrant side, we're on the clock, right? I want to get to everything faster also to get successful like quicker, So it might be my story, it might be only me, but overall, I believe that the competition level is like I listen a lot to Jordan and Kobe. Kobe doesn't compete against himself.
Mm-hmm.
No. Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, they don't compete against themselves. They compete against each other. They watch all the other players. Yeah, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, no. Like, now, this is a good conversation because when we, looking at the competition aspect again, right, and then we're going to touch on Kobe because I think he has a great way to look at it.
Okay.
You are still competing with yourself every single day because you have a goal, which is your goal, right? So your goal is to beat the guy who's lifting 2,000 pounds, right?
Right.
That's your goal. All right. It's not his goal. His goal is not to, lift 2,000 pounds maybe,
Right.
or, his goal might be 3,000 pounds. So you're operating on his goal because you say, I'm going to beat him at 2,000 when his goal is really 3,000. So you're constantly chasing him versus if you focus on your growth, then you can say, I'm improving. And that has a better longevity for your mind because you see the progress. The majority of people, and I'm not saying you are the majority because 1 to 2% of the world succeed wildly, so you could be that 1 or 2%. But the majority of people, how they get better is incrementally. So like they see the progress and then they get invigorated. And then also there's that aspect of seeing that it can be done. So if you see someone lift 2,000 pounds in your mind, it can be done, right? Roger Bannister, he ran the 4-minute mile. Okay. He was the first man to do it. Everyone else, the scientists, everyone says, you can't do it. Your heart's going to explode. And the moment he did it, you know what happened? Everyone else started to beat the 4-minute mile because they saw it was possible.
Right.
So we need people, I believe, to say that this is possible. But then the moment when we surpass that person, who else is there to compete to? We have to compete for ourselves. Because yes, there can be someone who's better, but what if we're the best, right? Usain Bolt, fastest man. There's people who are fast too, right? Who is he going to compete with? He has to compete with himself. He has to beat his time.
That's why after that he quit. That's why he says it's over. I think he got 300 people now. He said it's over. I did. I don't need to compete against anybody anymore. I did what I was supposed to do. It's over. Kevin was probably trying to chase Jordan, but I'm sure like if he was getting like 6 bar or 8 bar, 7 bar, he probably say, hey, I'm good now. So the fact that he didn't reach Jordan probably fight every single day to get to this point. So I strongly believe that is I like to say the mindset that okay, we should go step by step, you should compete against yourself. But I understand that most of the people have some, their mindset is not very strong. You need to, if you do that, you're gonna hurt them. You're gonna distract them. They're gonna see the goal is too high for them. They need to go step by step. I understand that, but it's hard for me to feel like that. It's hard for me to like.
And I do want to say this: you are not wrong in your thinking. You are on point with your thinking because you have that mindset. It's nothing wrong with it. I'm not telling you to change it. I'm just offering you different perspectives. And I know there's people who are listening that there are different perspectives. Kobe, when he first started, who like the person he admired was Michael Jordan. He would ask Michael, how do you do this? How do you do that? When Michael retired, he would look at other people and things like that. But where his focus was? It wasn't on competition anymore. He wanted to be the best. Don't get me wrong. It was him. He said, how can I be better? I need to do 10,000 shots that are made every single day. I need to do 3 practices while everyone on my team is doing 2. He was the person who was competing with himself. And basically, it was called the Black Mamba mentality. He was in control because he was like, I'm the omnipotent person. Everyone else can chase me. I'm not chasing anybody. That's a different mindset, right?
Yes, I understand that. But I'm sure he was drawn by somebody, by a goal. I know you need to make like more shots, but it's to get another trophy to beat maybe Jordan, or is to get another bike because you know only I got 5. So I understand you need to compete against yourself, but the real why, because let's say Jordan have probably 5 or 4 bikes, and he got 5. He's still competing against himself. He's still the best. So I don't know if we still be like so. And you talk about it more like when you say like if Jordan say I'm the best. You say if the fellas don't worry about me, I'm the best too. So they all believe that for the best. They're all the best. And I watch soccer, so I talk about it all the time. There is 2 biggest players right now. Used to be the biggest, Ronaldo and Messi. They all compete against. Ronaldo watch all the start from Messi. Messi watch all the start from Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a beast in terms of work ethic. But what drives him every day is to make sure Messi doesn't beat him. So maybe it's just sports. I mean, if you can apply that to real life and business and personal growth, I know it might be different. But I believe that everybody should think like that. And it will make a huge difference on them if they start to compete against themselves first for sure, but they see somebody to beat every single day. So probably, yeah.
Yeah, and at some point you're going to find, and I know you don't see it right now. At some point you're going to find, I was telling you, you're going to find that you are at the top, right? Like there's no one better, right? There's no one to compete with, right? Because you have succeeded wildly, and that's a good thing, right? You are the number one, right? You want to be number one, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So if you're number one, there's no one to compete with. All right. There's going to be people who are chasing you that you have to make sure that you always outcompete. But you have to, at that point, I'm telling you the end goal. The end goal is you have to make sure you give yourself that no one is going to be able to catch you. There's so many examples of this. There was a figure skater, or it was like an ice skating rink in the Olympics, where in the beginning, typically everyone's going real slow, like everyone's at the same pace, and then toward the end of the race, that's when they speed up. Right. Well, this person did something totally different. Right out from the gate, they start to speed up, where they finally do one lap on everyone, and the only thing this person had to do was keep up with the crowd. That's the only thing they had to do. They didn't have to compete anymore because they were already in first place. So they didn't have to keep passing people because they were like, I'm watching everyone and no one can catch me. And many people, they have to learn that because they don't see it, like even myself in high school, where, I would go to the gym and I would see people and I'm like, don't worry, I'll catch up to you. Where if you see someone going 100 miles an hour, you better be going 101 miles an hour because you need to make sure that you don't lose that momentum or you don't let them get too far ahead. There's different mindsets when it comes to, like fitness. But then even in the business world, when you're trying to succeed wildly, you need to see what your competitors are doing, and then you need to do it better. And you need to do it more. One of the things I work with people when they say they want to do something is we look at what the top person is doing, right? And I say, okay, if they're doing this, I want you to triple it, something crazy. And they're like, triple it? Whoa, that's a lot. I'm like, if you want to be number one, that's what you have to do. And not everyone has that mindset to, do double the work or do triple the work or do the long nights or to do the hard things, is because they want the comfort, as we said early on. So, as we are looking at this mindset for all the things, and I know we started with real estate and then we got into and then but this is this is a personal development podcast. We talk about mindset, and you have a very unique mindset, and you're not alone in this mindset. There's other people who have this, this mindset too. And my mindset is not the only mindset. I know that 100%. So that's why I bring on other coaches, other people to talk about their mindset also, because it is so powerful. Because then people realize, oh, I'm not alone. I can accept who I am. Because if you're a very competitive person, you might feel like, oh, I can't be competitive because Michael said I can't be competitive. No, it's not about being what I say, what, like what you can, what you can't do. It is what is appropriate for you. For you, it's appropriate for you to be super competitive. For me, I don't have to be super competitive because at the end of the day, I'm perfectly content with, my ripple effect
Mm-hmm.
day by day. I'm living the life that, is successful for me. But then some people, they want to fly in jets. I fly in jets all the time, and it's not because they're my jets; it's because my clients' jets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I get to live that life, but
Life
then at the
already.
same
Mm-hmm.
time, I see all because I work with them so much.
Mm-hmm.
I see like the negative side too, and I'm like, I kind of like the simple life a little
Okay.
bit more.
Okay. Okay. Well, just to come back to the mindset,
Yeah.
I have a perfect example. And this one I wasn't here yet. I was in Africa.
Mhm.
But it's just to explain that the I don't know how to explain that, but the person that you will become if you force yourself to put your limitation, like to have a very high expectation of yourself by competing against people and then always pushing yourself. I start smoking cigarettes at 15 years old and I quit at 25. It was 20 years of smoking cigarettes. 2 years prior, like 2 years before I quit, I knew that I was starting to have a big crazy addiction. I was smoking between 10 to 15 cigarettes every day. I wasn't able to sleep if I don't have any cigarette because I want to make sure that if I wake up in the morning, I need to smoke without even brushing my teeth and drink water. So if I don't have a cigarette, I cannot sleep. I need to make sure I have one or two for the morning. Do you know how I quit? One day. I didn't say I'm going to do 5 cigarettes tomorrow. No. One day, I said, okay, I smoke. I said, this is my last one. From 25 to now 35, I didn't smoke any cigarette anymore. I was an addict. Of course, it was difficult the first day. I was trying to avoid the shop. I was like eating chewing gum like a gun, and I was eating candy to make sure I have something in my mouth to make sure I cover that. But forcing myself so hard like that to say, okay, I need to quit today, no baby steps. I finally quit without any medication, without anything. So
Mhm.
I believe the mindset of being hard on yourself. Even if I see somebody who's losing 2,000, I'm gonna try a little bit. Even if that's okay, but I just feel it. So it's my mindset.
Mhm.
So, and I believe if people can copy that, they will make they will reach a lot of stuff. It's gonna be helpful for sure. But at the end of the day, on the other side of the journey, it's relief. And when you do once, you say you can do anything. If I quit cigarettes in one day, there's nothing that can stop me. I can drink for 10 years, I can stop the other day.
So just for a quick clarification, you started smoking when you're 15, stopped at 25, or did you stop at 35?
25.
25. Okay. So you smoked for 10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So regardless of like our habits, like I know for smoking, I know like this is, tangent, but like you have the aspect of stopping cold turkey. It's called cold turkey. It's like, I
Okay.
can stop, I can go cold turkey. Like I don't
Mhm.
need to do this. And the reality is we can change our life, and oftentimes we need people to hold us accountable. Like we need people to, show us a way. And in a sense, when you're competitive, your competitor is holding you accountable because they're saying, even though they're not, they might not be saying it, they're
Mhm.
like, I'm doing this, you need to do it too. So like we have this aspect of accountability. Sometimes people, they don't have that competitive nature within them. So that's when they get a coach, they get a
Mhm.
mentor, they get someone
Mhm.
to help them along the way. And that's also important for people to realize. If we just kind of, haphazardly go through life and we don't have any focus or any clear directive, then that's when most people fall short. And that's when people can't afford the house, people can't
Right.
afford the mortgage, people fall into a dead-end job, a 9 to 5 that, maybe might bring them some sort of happiness, and everything begins to compound. So
Mhm.
you have to ask yourself, is what you're doing appropriate for today, tomorrow, next week, next year, for a lifetime? Because it could be good for a moment, but is it good long term? Like, for
Mhm.
example, would you agree that eating pizza every day is a good thing?
It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad. So there's certain things that you have to understand that are not good for you.
Mhm.
And one thing that is definitely beneficial for you is to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
So how you challenge yourself, it doesn't matter. You can have you can have
correct.
competitors, you can challenge
Doesn't
yourself, you can
matter.
take
The challenge yourself.
exactly. You can
Yeah.
have baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on your mindset, and like mindset is dependent on you, right? I can't say, hey, this is your mindset, you need to adapt this mindset. You determine your own
Your own
mindset.
mindset.
You
Yeah.
figure out your comfort level, you figure out what you're trying to go for in life. If you have the drive for it, why not keep going, right? You have an immense drive, so go for it, right? Push for that jet, push for being number one, push for being the best, because there's only a few select people in the world who
Mm-hmm.
have that strong mindset.
Yep.
And so if you have it, keep pushing toward it. Don't be afraid of it. Push, and lean into it. Don't let other people say that, oh, you should take it easy, you should take a break. No. There is no break. There is no time, right? There is only success. There is only thriving.
Yeah.
There is only
Mm-hmm.
the option to be the winners, number one, right? Everyone forgets number two and number three,
Mm-hmm.
but number one is going to live and stay the testament of time.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you're perfectly right. So it looks like you come back to my point a little bit. I don't know, because
The reason
your last sentence was, mm-hmm.
well, the reason is mindset.
Yeah.
Is I can tell you what I do as a mindset coach.
Mm-hmm.
Mindset is not so much of me telling people what I want them to think. Mindset is to find the holes in your conversation and then to fill them in with logic and facts so you can understand that you now have a clear plan for the future.
Okay.
Because if you didn't see things, because we all have blind spots. I will tell you, I have blind spots. I have hundreds of blind spots. It's a good thing. I need a coach. I need a mentor to, say, hey, this is a blind spot. How you coach people with real estate and helping people figure that out. It's a blind spot for them. They don't know, but then you help them. Right. And then that's how we grow together.
Right.
We help each other. So everyone has blind spots. And then from us understanding and filling in the holes where we might not be so strong, guess what? Now we're stronger, right?
Right. Yeah.
Kobe, he can go against, 1 versus 5, but it probably wouldn't be a good game. He has teammates and he uses people to fill in his hole, like, hey, I need some help, I need some assistance. Because they can double team Kobe and he's still like, hey, good. But you have 5 people on Kobe. I mean, it's going to be a tough game for him.
But he's the last one to take the shot. He's always the last one to take the shot.
Yep.
Yeah, always. Even the diamond and triple, he got to take the shot.
Yep.
Why?
But because he says he loves the competition.
Right. Yeah.
He he loves the adversity.
Yeah.
And I said this on other episode. I said adversity is the path that leads a man to abundance. So the hard moments are going to build you up.
Yeah.
And so the more challenges you have are going to build you up. And our conversation is definitely one for, the competitive nature individuals, for people who are hungry for success, for people who are tired of being lackadaisical and stagnant in their life, and they want to make extreme impact.
Right.
And they know they can commit to it long term. So as we begin to wrap up, please tell people where they can find you, and then also any links and websites that you want to promote.
Yeah, sure. Basically, it's very simple. People can Google me. My first name is Paul, Paul. My last name, Loubao, Loubao. They're going to see all my social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. My website is going to be there too as well. As long as they click on one channel, they're going to see all my links to contact me. It's very easy. So Google is the best way to go. Paul Loubao, you Google me, you'll find everything.
All right. Well, the second best way is just to go down into the description box because all the links will be there. So I encourage everyone, of course, just to look at his social, see what he's doing, see what he's up to date. Of course, if you have any questions for him, ask him any questions, begin the conversation. Because again, I love to bring on different coaches from different walks of life to come out coaching a session to talk about different types of mindsets, to talk about their story, and from there, you have to understand that not everyone is going to have your way of thinking. For example, like I'm not an immigrant and like I haven't moved countries. So I couldn't even, fathom what a person would have to go through if they came from a different place in the world. And now they have to, come to a different country and learn the language and learn the culture and then try to make a living and a life in that new country.
And compete against you.
And then compete against me.
The American citizens.
Will Smith had a great way of putting this. He goes,
Mhm.
if I'm on the treadmill and you
Mhm.
come on the treadmill next to me, one of us are going to die. Because he's not stopping. He's not stopping.
Yeah, but yeah. Mhm.
So it's so true where we
Yeah.
have to understand that we keep on pushing until we get to our goals, and your
Right.
goals might be different than other people's, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
You figure out what you want in life, just as, Paul, you want that jet, you want to be number one. Someone else,
Yeah.
might just want to live in a cabin in the woods with a cat and a dog.
Mhm. Yeah. This is
Either
life.
or.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Either or, that's
Either
life.
or.
I do want to thank you, Paul, for coming on.
Thank you for
We
having
had
me.
an invigorating and enlightening conversation, a lot of fun, definitely wholesome. I know people are going to gravitate toward this because it's definitely different than our regular conversations, but it's good to be unique. So make sure to share the episode with your friends and family and on all your socials.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.